Hello everybody and welcome back to Danny B Needs a Minute. I am Danny B. It's time to discuss what happened this weekend at Phoenix International Raceway. This is a preview of what we might see for the 2020 NASCAR Championship. What does this mean? Well, let's discuss everything. Welcome to my show. So getting straight into the race review, I want to say I missed the first half of this race. I was actually volunteering hands-on Nashville as we were helping sort items for a distribution center for those impacted by the recent tornadoes in Nashville. Kitty, get out of here. My cat is literally playing with a bag right now while I'm trying to record this. Get out of here. Go. Anyway, so I was assisting with Hands-On Nashville. We were helping sort of just go through items that are going to be used for distributing to those who were impacted by the tornado. You gotta go. So I was actually assisting with Hands-On Nashville as we were helping just sort of go through the items that have been donated. That way it could be better organized for those who come by in order to receive assistance after being impacted by the recent tornadoes. However, after this was done, we left about 4 o'clock and then we were able to listen to the race on the radio and we got back in time to watch the finish of the race. And I'll admit, I really thought going into this, once I saw the practice results, that this would be Chase Elliott's weekend. After all, he did qualify in the pole as well, but he started off doing really well. However, he did have to pit midway through the race, and it was definitely not time for it because of a loose wheel. Doesn't this just help strengthen that argument for the one lug nut? It might, just a little bit. But then after this happened, I thought that it would look like it either be Brad Keselowski or it would be Kevin Harvick who would win this race. But Harvick would come up just short, and as for Keselowski, he had some issues with his teammate Logano, who would actually go on to get around him. And I'll admit, sometimes on the radio, it didn't sound like Brad was that happy with Joey Logano, and that's a trend that we've seen the majority of the season so far, really making me wonder, does Brad Keselowski want to continue to be teammate to this guy? But that's a discussion for another day. We'll talk a little bit more about Penske contracts in just a minute. But as for the race itself, it would be Brad's teammate Joey Logano who would end up going into being in the right place at the right time, and Joey Logano would go on to being your winner this weekend at Phoenix. This would be his second win of the year, and thus that would make him first in the point standings ahead of Alex Bowman and Denny Hamlin. And while I didn't get to see much of the Cup race this weekend, I was tuning in very closely to the Xfinity Series race this weekend, which I will admit surprised me in every way possible. I thought for sure Kyle Busch is in this race. This will be the Kyle Busch show. Heck, Brad Keselowski was in this race. I thought this would be the Brad and Kyle show. No, while Kyle Busch was looking to be competitive, at first it looked like as though Justin Allgaier was actually the car to beat in this one. He was able to get around Kyle Busch clean and even led for a while. However, just an unfortunate pit mistake would put them back. This would then lead to Kyle Busch being out in the lead, and up to about, he was getting close to the end, he still had the lead. However, he was being caught by a Joe Gibbs teammate, Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones was able to pass Kyle Busch entirely clean as Kyle Busch would fall back, and not only would he fall back, he'd actually passed again by his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate Harrison Burton. I guess Harrison Burton's trying to show up to Kyle Busch and say, hey, I was a little bit better than you gave me credit for, bud. But Brandon Jones, like, people in this community have said many things about Brandon Jones. They've questioned, whether he was cut out to be here, but I think this is a big statement for him, and he proved that yes, he does deserve to be. That was an impressive win by Brandon Jones, and I give him all the credit, and he has locked himself into this year's playoffs. Congratulations, Brandon Jones, on your victory. And then before the Xfinity race, we actually had ARCA night in America, and I'll admit, this was a pretty interesting race. It looked as though Ty Gibbs was going to end up dominating this one, but Chandler Smith, the other Sorry, Elimination Chamber's on in the background while I'm recording this. If you watch the show, you probably know what just kind of big flip just happened in the Elimination Chamber tag team match. Oh my gosh, here's a replay. Lindsay Dorado. Oh my gosh. Okay, enough wrestling. ARCA Night in America happened, and Chandler Smith was able to get the victory. Meanwhile, Hailie Deegan would also have another good night. I think she came in about 6th or 7th, but it was good enough that as long as she's keeping that consistency, she comes out of this weekend still 2nd place in the point standing. So that's very good for Hailie Deegan and her team. 2 top 10s in a row is very impressive for this young lady. And that pretty much wraps up what I saw from the race weekend. Now, let's discuss some of the other news that happened. And we talked about, how we talk about some Penske contracts. Well, let's get started right there with Mr. Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney did indeed sign a new contract extension with Penske Racing, and I think this is very interesting because for Blaney and his teammate Brad Keselowski, both of their contracts were up at the end of this year, and with Blaney having already re-signed and Keselowski hasn't, it's kind of concerning me that Keselowski most likely still will not be returning to this team. I mean, after all, he lost his major sponsor Miller Lite as a primary sponsor. They're only on for one race this year. And Paul Wolfe, well, he's finding new success of Joe Logano. He's got 2 wins this year of Joe Logano. Paul Wolfe may be just fine where he's at, but as for Keselowski, it just continues to look like this isn't a very happy relationship anymore. So who knows what this could spell for Brad Keselowski. A lot of people think he may be going to the 48 to replace Jimmy Johnson next year. And myself, I'm kind of leaning that way myself after seeing all of this. Also cool happenings that happened this weekend at Phoenix. They unveiled their logo for the NASCAR Championship weekend. It'll be coming up at the end of the year. And I'll admit, this logo right here kind of making me think of a Tostitos logo. Anyone got some chips and salsa? Sounds good right now. Saw a familiar face walking around the garage this weekend. Ryan Newman was there in support of his number 6 team. It's good to see him out and about and enjoying the race as a fan, and also just good to see him in general, and he agrees, as he said to the reporters, it's great to be alive. That was the common thing he kept telling people, it's just great to be alive. And I agree, it is. It's amazing to see him still doing fine.
And you might be back?
I have no idea about anything.
Yeah.
I'm here to spectate, have some fun.
How you feeling though?
Feel fine. I look okay?
You look great, man.
I've always been a good judge of my looks.
I mean, so what, you just trying to help Corey out today?
No, I'm just really here to support the 6 team and stay integrated with what I can do with the team and have some fun, obviously. That's what it's really all about. I want to see Ross do well, but I'd rather be in Ross's seat. So that's what, just want to make sure that we're doing everything we possibly can to, for our sponsors and for myself to have a good weekend.
Any timetable for that at this point? What do you hope to talk to the team about? Like, are you trying to help Ross, or are you more just want to know how the
just
how
watch?
This package
I mean,
works,
I got a chance now to watch not just the 6 but the 17 and how they work and teamwork that goes into that. That's equally as important to me to have an opportunity to see them and watch them perform while I'm not in the race car. So I feel like I should be able to take advantage of this crazy opportunity.
What does it mean to be at the track?
It's great to be alive. So looking at my car, it's a miracle.
I mean, what did you think when you saw that?
Just lucky.
Before things could get happening in the Xfinity Series this weekend, NASCAR actually brought in Noah Gragson to the NASCAR hauler during the start of Xfinity Series practice this weekend at Phoenix in order to discuss with him his recent on-track action. So it looks as though NASCAR has got their eyes on Mr. Gragson, and they may not like the direction he's traveling right now. Okay, so you guys are going to like this one. You know how last week I talked about the whole Kyle Busch autograph incident? Well, something was put out on Twitter this week of a fan that was seen and videoed getting an autograph from Kyle Busch and saying that there was nothing bad this time, but Kyle Busch then retweeted it and he said that it was the 3rd autograph for the guy this weekend, and he did the little shrugging his shoulders emoji. So I don't know if it's being serious, if that really happened, or if it could just be joking about the whole situation from last weekend. But if it was serious, then oh my gosh, this guy. Also, missed this when I was talking about the race weekend review, as it just kind of slipped my mind, but we had some fighting this weekend as we saw Brandon Brown fighting with Mr. Dylan Bassett after the race this weekend after some contact that they had during the Xfinity Series race.
Happened. But some enormous
energy.
Yeah, I mean, those guys are very displeased. And NASCAR officials getting involved in sending them in the opposite direction. Wow.
I'm glad I've never been a part of that, Joey. How about you? Me too. So
And this is one of the more just unbelievable news that I read over the weekend. The F1 Bahrain Grand Prix has actually been announced that it will be held without any spectators due to the outbreak of the coronavirus. It's incredibly unprecedented to have to see this happen, but at the same time, I do get it, and I hope and pray that we never have to see this for a NASCAR event. But that'll do it for my take on this weekend's actions in NASCAR. What were your thoughts? How did you enjoy the race weekend? Be sure to let me know down in the comments below. Please give the video a like, it really does help my channel out a lot. And if you're new here, I do this 2 times a week as well as a middle of the week kind of research video, and I think you'll really enjoy that a lot. As for now, I'll see you next time on Danny B Needs a Minute, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye guys.